like to bring the meeting to order. First order of business is if everybody would please stand, face the flag. Councilman Suppenbach will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you remain standing, John, would you please lead us in a prayer tonight, please?
Dear Lord, help us to make good decisions tonight and do what's best for the community and be willing to listen to each other and work things out. Ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call. Mindy, roll call, please.
Will, absent, Suppenbach,
Here.
Dawson,
Here.
Mitchell,
Here.
Capps.
Here.
Here.
Okay, we knew Richard, Councilman Gravel was going to be gone this week. He had traveling arrangements already made, and I don't believe it was New Orleans, but we wish him safe travels. First order of business is the approval of minutes. Before I ask for the council to motion the approval of minutes, there was evidently a misunderstanding last week about comments made. We went thoroughly through the meeting minutes that were spoken, and I would tell everybody that my words were, the conversation of living in RVs have come to hand, and we'd like to turn it over to planning and zoning to see what the future lies for camper living. Okay, let me explain. I've had people come to me who live on the lake that have nice assets that would ask the question, as we continue to be sporadic about mobile living, you know, throughout the community, what will that do to my asset? I have an opinion, but I'm not the expert with that answer. We have a planning and zoning commission that are designed to be the experts of that. There are a couple things that come to play here. The first thing that comes to play is from the very beginning of the existence of this place, there has been an area specifically zoned for camper, okay? And through that, it was done through correct process that they would create a multi-purpose lot and what could be done on that multi-purpose lot. And through the years, that had generated into an opportunity to come down and set a tank, set an electric pole, set a tank, set your tanks, and live full-time in your campers, okay? Again, it is not my intention to move anyone. Example being, when I moved here 15 years ago, I had people who are still there that are right next to me. I have no intention of seeing anybody go anywhere. But the same as I owe it to you, if you come to me and ask me a question, I would like to try to answer that question. That was the intent of bringing it up. And I'm sure planning and zoning will look at this through a lot of different eyes. One, the POA's eyes. How did it get created? Why are we here? What is the situation with this? The other conversation they may have would be, well, let's see, our taxes are all pretty high here because of maybe some of the value of the assets in this community and the lake. So it all works hand in hand. So this conversation was not about dismissing anybody. So the reason I'd bring it up in the approval of minutes would be that my minutes say different than everybody understood this to be said. I think it got followed by maybe misrepresentation, but the mayor did not take it upon himself to decide that you all didn't deserve to live in somewhere that was put together through ordinances. Okay, and there's a process to this. Yes, sir.
My name is George Donamaker. I write for the paper Linn County News, and I put a section in my column last meeting that reflects what the mayor was talking about. And apparently I misunderstood. The way I took what he said is what I wrote. And apparently I was wrong. And I'm more willing to say that I've been doing this job 10 years part-time, never had any conflict with anybody, but try always to do my best to get an actual representation of what they're going to do. Apparently this time I messed up, and I'll take the bullet for it. So.
Well, thank you, George. That, very respectful of George. And I hope that everybody would know this. We, the city, have a responsibility. One of our responsibility is we like to stay in our lane. You know what? There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the POA that has nothing to do with us. What we would like to make sure we do here is make sure that you can flush your toilets so you can live here, and so that we can bring in clean, usable, affordable water to the entire community instead of the community being on 2 or 3 different water designations. So with this, you know what, has come a cost. You've all realized that cost. But guys, without the growth of this community, the city wouldn't be needed, is number one. But number two, be respectful to other people's questions, you know. So I don't know, maybe the next question would be somebody's gonna buy the last lot for $350,000 and they wanna live in a camper there. I don't know what life is gonna bring us in this community. It seems to change a lot. And not through city ordinances, mind you, but it changes a lot. I'd like to leave it with that, and I'd like to move on. Questions I will take at the end of the meeting under old business tonight if you have any questions. But I wanted to correct that. With that being said, I would motion for the council to approve the meeting minutes for January 27th.
Motion to approve the January 27th, 2025 meeting minutes as presented.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Clerk's report.
Voucher total for $5,839.56. The public safety reserve is now up to $80,540.
Motion to approve vouchers in the amount of $65,839.56.
I'll second it.
Any conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 3 on the agenda is Text My Gov. Mindy, you'd like to share with the council some opportunities to be able to get to the community and information.
This would be, communication through texting. I can send out any of us can send out a mass text to community. Anything weather-related, city council meetings. There's no app to download. You just sign up. You can use that app to ask questions. It's connected to the website. If you want to know how much dog licenses are, you type it in, it tells you. Then there's a link to that page on the website. I've talked to several people that aren't real big Facebookers. Found out a lot of people will, if they get a text, they'll look at their text before they go look at a website or Facebook. Osawatomie has had this since 2021, and they love it. They just went through a huge road project, and it was very helpful to them. We could text just certain areas of the lake. Like when this water line goes through, I don't have to bother people that it doesn't pertain to. So,
You also looked into how many texts that this would allow us to text and how many responses. And based on the quantity, there are cities bigger than us that are utilizing this system real well. So one of my concerns was, I think it was 25,000, you know.
it's 25,000 texts, but they roll over.
Yeah,
Osawatomie has, she sent a total of 80,000 since she got it. She's never had to purchase more texts
Yeah.
because they're rolling. And she can pick areas, so she's not wasting texts to tell the guy on the north side that his road's gonna be worked on. I mean, the guy on the south side don't care.
what's, our cost for this?
Cost is, the setup, to get it all set up is $2,500.
Okay. And then what is our our annual
It's
cost?
$2,500 a year is the end.
2,500 a year. Okay, does, and it's a 1, 2, 3, how many year contract?
3.
And it will, from 25 to 26, it will raise how much? And from 26 to 27, it'll raise how much? 2,020. I think, it's another way to reach the community. It's another way to involve the community. My concern of running over, we've discussed it, and she's, again, through reassurance, I don't think that we're gonna go over the text that, we're gonna be sending or receiving responses to. And it's another way for people to gather. Good example, not everyone has a computer. If it wasn't for the fact that I would have been on the city council for all these years, I would not own a computer. Okay, so I would have to rely on, and this is not an iPhone, it was just a cell phone, you know, to do a lot of the things that I'd like to do. Email is more difficult on a phone, trying to read something, trying to respond to something. And I'd like the council to consider this, once Mindy answers what it's gonna cost us from year to year in a 3-year agreement. And, I'd like you to consider this, for, the next meeting for, the possibility of your approval. For years, we were a retirement community. You know, there was a lot of people coming down here. This was gonna be the last place they build. It's retirement, you know what, some of you this might even apply to some of you. You are living in your, fifth wheel right now, anticipating and, waiting on a contractor or waiting to build your next home. You know, maybe you're a few $1,000s short, whatever the case may be, everybody has a dream and an ambition. You know, this is to provide people a better way to get to it. Example being, the meeting tonight, instead of having to go to the webpage link, they could have went to it from their text.
It's 2,500 for the second year and 2,500 for the third year.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
It says it may increase no more than 5% per year.
But as far as the contract here,
Yeah.
what I'm reading, it stays the same.
For the first 3 years, at least, yeah.
For the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the way it reads to me too, but we'll have legal.
you know, so I don't think, I knew it was sent over to Jamie, and I think Jamie had looked at it and found it to be a pretty standard contract based on 5% isn't a whole lot from year to year. You know, what the cost of living in itself is 2.5% to 3.5%. You know, so a company trying to cover their bases, I don't think I'm insulted by that, or is it something that's unanswered?
That 25,000 text messages per year, is that receiving side or sending side?
Both.
So it's the receiving, okay, so, what I'm saying is if you sent out a blast to the entire community, you're sending one text, but it's
No,
going
no.
out to, I understand it, but you're actually only entering at one time.
Right, and it's
Hitting the
going to
button and it's
everybody.
going out to
But it will
everybody.
count
So it would count as
Yeah.
1,000, 1,100,
But
whatever.
Osawatomie has a population of 45, she's got 3,600 signed up.
Okay.
And she's not.
Well, yeah, I
allowed
was
to.
just doing the quick math, and it's like you could send 68 a day
And
all
this,
year long to get to that.
and this may be easier for a lot of the people in the community, you know what, to keep up rather than have to rely on email and a computer to go to the city's webpage. You know, it's another way to communicate to get to people.
Luke,
Ja-
can I ask a question?
Sir?
I like a great idea, but I went just get tags in my car the other day, and they have a new system out called My Alert. And my question would be, does it interlink with My Alert so that you don't have to have all these different apps?
No app,
There's no app for this.
no app.
No, it's just an automatic just send out. Okay,
It just goes over your normal
okay.
tab.
That's the reason I was asking that, because like I said, they just sent out a My Alert thing now, and now like they just sent out like the winter storm coming through Linn County, anything Luke County. It's
There's
like,
no app.
okay. Sorry.
Council, any input, any questions?
Looks like we'd have to send like almost 480 texts per week to hit that 25,000.
Oh, and the members of the community can sign up for it. Example being, you can sign up for this and she'll, just like you would the email process, it could be directly sent to you on the information page. So it's something you can sign up for.
Sounds like the same app you could sign up for with the county that alerted you of incoming storms and things like
Yeah.
that. It just sends a text to you. You just have to sign up for it.
So it's more for information. I would like the council to give me a yay or a nay on moving forward with the attorney, going through it, approving it, and, I'll bring it forward to the council in the next meeting for signature. John, where are you at with it?
I absolutely despise texting, but I think this is a good thing for the community.
Thank you.
I think it's a good thing to reach everybody in one.
The more transparency, the better.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Any comments? Anything anybody would like to add? Like to move on? Mindy, let's get this document ready for signature. Jamie, are you ready to approve?
Yeah, I think,
Okay,
I
well,
think they're gonna,
then at this particular point, I need a motion then.
well, Lou, wait till the next one. Did you call and check on the price and things like that with them? Yeah.
Yes, I tried. I mean, it went down is it 250 off setup and 500 off? Well,
Okay. I mean, she's done her check, see if we get the price lower. So, yes.
And did you?
And apparently we
Yeah,
did.
she did.
a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that's the case, then yeah, I mean, it's standard contract.
If the council's ready to make this decision, I'll entertain a motion then
For the 2750?
for the text my government proposal. This contract.
I would make a motion to approve I would make a motion to allow for the city clerk and city attorney to enter into a contract with TextMyGov for 3 years with a initial price of $2,750 for the first year and $2,500 for each additional year.
I will second that motion.
I correct that motion that the clerk nor the attorney can enter into this, sign this contract. It has to be the mayor.
The mayor to enter into a contract with TextMyGov in the amount of $2,750 for the first year and $2,500 for each additional year.
I'll second that motion.
Any conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Next is sewer report. Did we get a sewer report from, Mike Page this month?
Didn't get anything from her. Minutes, anything?
Okay. We do not. Okay, that's fine.
We do have a
Okay.
usage report.
We do have a usage report, which is gonna come in, handy here real quick in the next conversation, so. But Mike, for the most part, stays pretty busy. As you'll notice, we ordered our beginning of the year inventory. You might have, if you've been around it, before we put it in the shed, it's out equipment. So we're getting ready for the beginning of the year. We have a particular situation with a sewer that we keep having to repair and repair, and we know the culprit now, but it's the equipment belongs to the city, and if in an event somebody puts something in one of your chopping pump systems and it tears it up, you could have to pay for that, and please don't be offended here in the audience as I'm looking forward, because there's people on Facebook. I'm not taking this your direction, but situation we're working with now is items that don't belong in a deal. We've repaired 4 times, and Mike wants to know how long we're going to continue to repair something because of products that don't belong in the chopping pumps. So, guys, Mike stays busy. He does a hard job for us, the same as the POA does with the sewer. People, a darn unappreciated job, but this community could not function without the POA, the people who haul that sewer, and without this group right here that's trying to keep full toilets flushing with the lagoon that's in terrible desperation. So,
Do we currently have any kind of policy?
I think there's an ordinance, I think if I had it
There-
right where I left.
there is an ordinance. We have an ordinance for the low pressure sewer for that very reason. Actually, the ordinance goes a step further than that, and it can apply to what gets put in people's tanks also. So, because what comes out of those tanks go into trucks and, goes into our lagoon system, so.
Well, does it specifically speak to damage to the pump or
Yes,
number of
yes.
repairs?
Yes. Yes. So,
When somebody was putting
Gotcha.
we'll continue to move forward. I just wanted to give you examples that Mike Page stays extremely busy as our sewer operator in the community. I thank Mike Page a lot for that. The next is a sewer report. In the last meeting, I wanted to talk to the council about we needed to make a hard decision, and that is how much more are we going to continue to add to lagoons before the new lagoons get built. This has to do with, here are some of the statistics that go on with our lagoons that has been overloaded now for several years. In 2021, we added 58 tanks and 6 low pressure sewers. Oh, we desludged in 2021, by the way. In 2022, we had 35 tanks and 7 low pressure sewers. In 2023, we had 24 tanks and 4 low pressure sewers. In 2024, we had 53 tanks and 5 low pressure sewers. At 2,000 gallons, guys, this adds up. Just since we've desludged, we've added 170 tanks and 22 low pressure sewers. Arithmetic at 2,000 gallons per delivery, even on a monthly basis, we anticipate that we're moving anywhere between 40,000 gallons plus a day through the lagoon system that was established for no more than 30,000 gallons. This has been going on for years. This is not anything new. It's just to a point. I met with Jason Solomon from the Kansas Rural Water Association. He got on the lagoons last Friday. He had sent a letter, and basically this letter indicated that the lagoon is overstaged right now. It has an enormous amount of solids in it. Because of that, the bug ratio is not correct in it. We have a few things that he, would talk about here. One would be dissolved oxygen for the good bacteria. We don't have dissolved oxygen in it. It is septic and rancid. Okay, so with this, what are our options? What are our immediate options? Well, the arithmetic here, so that the council understands that it's not being made up. These are things that come directly from the POA. And the statistics from the POA shows us that we're delivering close to, well, we have several years here that we go, but guys, we deliver almost 500,000 gallons to a lagoon, these lagoons a month. That's being reported to us. That's just the Holden Hall. This is just the Holden Hall. This doesn't have to do anything to do with what's the total of low pressure pumps and low pressure systems that we have now, 136. So with that, guys, I'm gonna have the same conversation with you I had last week, and that's that we stop adding. We take care of the people we have now. Before we continue to put more people on this system that cannot handle it, we need to take care of the people in front of us now. And that are the people that we're hauling or we're taking care of the low pressure sewer. But to continue, is this gonna be another 53 tank year? Is this gonna be a 48 tank year? Is it gonna be a 23? I think that guessing game is dangerous. Okay, the outfluent that gets tested here is slowly, the BODs are slowly creeping up, although they're still well within range. We can see the BODs move. Okay, and I say we, this is Jason Solomon, and I worry about this. I worry a great deal about this because one of the things that was told to us when we desludged the lagoons in 2021 is because of the years of muskrat infiltration, that when they were washing this out, we were losing terracing. You know, when they were taking the sludge out of there, they go in their big pressure pumps and it looks like a giant whirlpool going around this lagoon. And they're collecting it and taking it for fertilizer. Well, you know what, we lost some of our lagoon because of poor terracing. So, can we desludge it again, and would the KDHE even allow us to, based on the amount of solids in it? That would be a question for Jason, and he said he'd have to do more investigating, but I'm not gonna speak for Jason, but he made reference, that was the reference that he made to me, was to take care of the people we have now, so, and try not to add anything until the new lagoons are receiving sewage. And I believe that I was told today that once the second cell got started and the lagoon construction, they could start delivering. So, I'm not the expert on this. That's why I called Jason Solomon. But guys, you know that the records that I got from the Kansas Rural Water Department, or I get from the Kansas Department of Revenue, which tracks all the water sold in the state of Kansas. So, you know, my resources are, I think, very solid. And then I'm using POA's resources based on their own statistics of how much we're delivering a month. Conversation, council. Don?
Sounds like we're looking at another moratorium.
Don?
I think we don't have much choice, or we're gonna be having somebody else haul our sewer off somewhere.
There's no one else.
And
to
there's
haul
no
it
one
to.
else.
Just like I said last time we talked about this, I've heard from a lot of the community that they want to slow down the building here. If we can, unless it'd be one way to do it, I guess.
I want to make sure this is perfectly clear. This decision's not being made about building. It's not being made about permitting. This is being made about adding to the sewer lagoons. Robert?
Well, you know, I'm not ever a fan of shutting down building because you can kill a city real quick doing that, but I think we can kill the city just as quick if our lagoons get shut down, so, and I'm not going to force anybody into a position where they have to spend $385 a trip to have their tanks emptied out, which is the quote I got last time we discussed this.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a very interesting conversation. Give you an example of how valuable the POA and their resources are, is if they couldn't haul for a day, they'd probably fall 4 days behind. If they couldn't haul for a week, they'd fall 3 weeks behind. If they couldn't haul for a month, the KDHE would come in here and shut us down, because there's nowhere in this part of the world that can come in and haul more than 4 loads a day. They have to take it to the closest place. Miami County won't take it, Linn County won't take it. Is Kenneth, Kansas, which is Overland Park, Stanley, for those of you who are familiar with Kansas. They charge $150 per thousand just to discharge there. That's where that's what a truck's gonna have to and then they're gonna charge you another $135 to haul it. And they can only do 4 loads a day. And I can promise this community has a bigger demand than that. A much bigger demand than 4 loads a day. That's how valuable they are to them. I worry so much about it. I have this conversation with people at the state. What would the city do? What would the city do if the POA couldn't haul for whatever reasons? Okay, what would happen? If you ask the city attorney, it's not an easy question. So, you know, I want you to know we're here because we care about you guys. I hope you really are. I hope you are aware of that and you know that that's the case. And every one of us live here. You know, so, you know, invested our time, our families in this community. So, you know, I have the same questions that you were gonna have. Is my asset gonna be something that my kids are gonna enjoy? Or is my asset gonna be something that the second they hit the ground, they just wanna get rid of it? Well, I love it here. I love everything that, it is what it is. We take it to COA and I love it here. So that's my intent here isn't the damage. It is to make common sense questions. And do I have anybody else at the table have a comment? Ma'am?
Do we have an ETA of when the lagoon will be completed, or completed to the point where we can use it?
Yes, ma'am. What we're gonna do is, today, I received an update for the lagoon project, and we received it back from the KDHE Friday. We got it? So, and I talked to the engineers today, and I have a better timeline for that for the council. However, we have a place for that on the list here, and I will get to that. Any other comments regarding what we just talked about sewer? I mean, the people who come to this council will give you a voice. As long as you're fair, you're reasonable in your time.
I agree 150%.
You know, so, and we stay within the agenda walls. Example being, stay with me, please.
So we'll need an ordinance.
Well, what we'll do is I'll move forward with getting the ordinance ready. Jamie and Mindy will get a ordinance ready so that we can deliver this in a council meeting, and you can approve it when we get it written.
Is it an ordinance or a resolution?
I believe it may be an ordinance. I'll look at it again, but the file that I have shows it probably falls under an ordinance. Okay? Council council, thank you very much. I would need a motion to approve to get these forms ready, guys, get everything ready for this, make it formal.
I will motion that the mayor and city attorney draft a ordinance pertaining to a moratorium on building,
Not gonna do wastewater,
particularly for water and or sewer holding tank.
specifically for,
And low
and
pressure sewer system too, right?
And low pressure sewer system.
sewer, it'll be wastewater management. A second, please.
I'll second it.
Any more conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Nuisance and building report. Steve, you're up.
Last month in January was a slow month, we only had 9 permits that were up all before. And total inspections for last month, we had a total of 15 on that. Nuisance, we had 5 certified letters go out, we had 2 hand delivered.
Good, didn't you? Any questions for Steve? Why would you say only 90 permits? We running slow? It's only 1st February, sir.
January was slow.
Who would ever imagine a little community like this with,
Nine
with,
there.
with the
9, yeah.
9.
90?
9.
He said 9,
9.
I was like 90.
which is a lot for,
Exactly. Okay. Any questions for Steve? Okay, Corey, public safety.
Sent my report over to you last week, so unless you have any questions, I don't have anything to add to it.
Any questions, council? We have a fire department member here tonight. We have Jeremy. Jeremy, is our, what does he do, what's his title now?
Assistant fire chief.
Assistant fire chief. Does a lot of work, does everything for us, and basically he reports to Corey, and Corey comes up here and reports. I want everybody to thank him for the burn pile. Council closed the burn pile down years ago because of mismanagement, same thing that went on with when the POA had the burn pile. So it was Jeremy who would come back and say, hey, the fire department would do this again, and opened it up. So for conversation, and the council agreed that it'd be a good benefit for the community. So again, being he's gonna be so involved in choices, I would like him to bring a monthly report at the first meeting of every month to the council. You now have a place at the table, sir.
Thank you.
Would you please order him a name plaque?
I do not know if I give you a great report for this month, but so we ran 5 calls for EMS. We ran 1 call for a structure, it was outlet smoking, and then we ran 2 calls for Miami County for January. And then the big thing is the last big freeze we had, the heater up on top of the hill where we store our fire trucks, the heater died and froze both of our, one of our pumpers and our tanker truck. I fixed the pumper, I got it back on. The tanker truck, it shelled the pump, cracked it in half. We found a pump, it's an old truck, we found a pump, it's about $6,000 for the pump, but that's not for us, that's just to buy the pump. We'd still have to install it. It also needs a clutch. So I guess the question is what do we want to do? Do we want to look for a new vehicle? Because this shit's 1988. I think it's 1988.
When we replaced the fire truck that's on the tax, is that gonna be the truck you're gonna replace?
No, this is the tanker.
This is just a tanker.
So we would fix this one anyway, and is it worth fixing? First off, the budget for this is not gonna get discussed till the end of the year if you're
Right.
gonna wanna buy another piece of equipment
Right.
for it. Okay, so the question you have to ask yourself is it immediate? Is it within your budget to fix, or are you asking the council to come up with the money for this? And if that's the case, then my next question is just that. Is it worth fixing? And can you wait on this particular piece of equipment until, 2026? Because another vehicle is something you'd have to budget for the
Right.
following year, sir.
So the problem is, it's our tanker, and since we don't have the water project done yet, that's how we distribute water. So if we don't have a tanker, we really have we have really like 1,500 gallons of water that we can get to a house without moving it from the dry. But there's no way to get it there. Like, we don't have a tanker truck. Like, no way to move it from like a dry well to the actual house to the scene. So right now we did speak with county. County does have an extra tanker, they said, but they were looking into opening a new firehouse inside of Sugar Valley, I think. I can't remember. Okay, one of the Valley Lakes. But they were wanting to put one in there, and so they didn't know how long we could borrow it, if we needed to borrow it.
I remind you, before you ask the council for money, we're coming off of January of the new year.
Right.
So that department has a annual budget that.
Yes, sir.
We just entered into.
And that's, the budget is $6,000 for vehicle repair, and just to do the pump alone is $6,000, just for us to buy it. Can we put it in? Yes, we can, in there, and we can do it all ourselves. But you're talking, like I said, that's just, it wipes our whole budget out pretty much for the year if we fix that.
Is that the last thing on your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council, weigh in, please.
That's a predicament. Gotta have a tanker.
We're gonna put on fire without water.
Yeah, I did notice that you kinda
Yeah,
slid in there, it's on us, cause we don't have water in yet.
I didn't mean it that way.
don't get super paying. I mean, we have mutual aid agreements with Lacey and the county as well.
We do,
So
yes.
if there is a structure fire type thing, anything like that.
We have backup.
They'll bring us a tanker. They'll get water to us, but we just don't have our own right now because of that pump being split
Right.
out.
It's a lot quicker just using ours and not waiting on them, right?
Right.
Sure.
You never know how long they're gonna take.
Yeah, because sometimes they get here pretty quick,
They're
sometimes.
volunteer just like
Yeah.
us, so it's a matter of
And they might have something
availability.
else going
Right.
on.
And if they have their own structure fire going, then it'll be in use there.
Mindy, you're our emergency manager representative for the county. What's your opinion? Oh, yeah, for those of you that didn't know, Mindy also is our emergency.
Put you on the
She
spot.
goes to emergency management meetings with the county. So, these are quarterly meetings, and she attends them, and,
I know the question he fixed too. I think you're about the one, is that the one she can drive?
Yes.
There is there's a reserve fund.
Sorry.
no, that's okay.
That's what we're here for.
What they give you the money, it will
I'm
be.
glad you got to deliver the news.
That's why I said in my first meeting, and I can say that.
You can't have you guys out there trying to do your job without the equipment you use.
Like I said, we tried to fix it, we tore everything apart, we thawed everything out, and then we just found the huge crack right down the center of it.
There's a special equipment reserve fund that I'm not 100% sure we should set up.
How much?
$54,000.
This is fire.
Not including just what you're gonna need to get the parts, gaskets, incidentals and stuff, would you not exceed $6,500?
I would say more like 7, because most of that's stainless, and if I have to replace any kind of piping or anything, then I'd have to replace it with stainless.
Not to exceed 7.
Including the clutch?
Well, the clutch is a whole nother story. I can do some adjustments on the clutch and make it last another year, and we can probably get through with that. I just wanted to bring that up, knowing like if you wanted to replace the truck or if you wanted to.
I like fixing what's broken. We can adjust the clutch for later on. Do that, so the council has a number now. So to do this, I entertain a motion that, the city pay for, not out of the fire department budget, but for the repair parts of the tanker, not to exceed $7,000.
Motion for,
I'll make the motion. I motion that the city provide payment for, equipment, or, parts to be replaced, on the tanker truck, not to exceed $7,000. And not be taken out of the fire department fund, but out of the
Emergency equipment.
emergency equipment.
Okay, thank you, Mindy. And, I need a second.
You already did, Mike.
Okay, any more conversation? All in favor?
aye.
It passes. Way to go, Jeremy. They were gonna turn down Corey. One other thing that went on Sunday, I'd like to bring to this community's attention was, if you weren't here, you didn't see it, you missed, probably the most fantastic thing that I saw happen in this community in a long time, thanks to Jeremy and the fire department. We probably had a dozen fire trucks from the county to other agencies, from Kansas City, Kansas, where John Enright was from. You know, we lost a valuable member of our community, somebody that was loved by a lot. And through it all, Jeremy, I want to tell you, thank you very much. Thank the fire department very much, and I can tell you that this was something that'll go down in memory for his family. You know, they brought down the honor guard from Kansas City, Kansas. It was quite the thing. I wish more of the community would align the roads to have given the man the recognition he deserved. 38 years of service.
It was pretty awesome to watch. I was surprised how many trucks just kept coming and coming and coming.
Believe me, we were surprised too when we got there.
My heart got tired. So with that, thank you very much, Jeremy. Okay, projects, water. We don't have any update on the water. Everything is still where it was a month ago, basically. We're receiving bids on we will receive and award bids on the 24th for the water project. So we're getting closer, closer and closer. What a struggle sometimes.
Just to make it a little more clear, the bid's on the 17th. DEG will do their
Correct.
due diligence, and we can award them on the 24th.
That is correct. We will receive them on the 24th.
Yep.
And it will approve the three most applicable bids, you know, from the engineers. Engineers' jobs to take all those bids. We had like 10 contractors, bid this job, which is good. That means everybody's trying to get the job. And, it's their job to sort through them and see which ones are really qualified and really weren't. Did they have the bond? It's a $12 million bond. So did they have the bonding? So the engineers will do all their due diligence, and then it comes to the city on the 24th. So again, another exciting day for the city council, and it has nothing to do with RVs or campers. So, you know, guys, I feel so bad about that miscommunication. Wastewater. We have now, this has to do with the expansion of the sewer lagoons, okay? Conversation we was having earlier about let's not add any more to that. In conversation with it, it's back from the KDHE. Just give everybody an idea, we probably got, that's not too bad, but about a page and a half of corrections to be made, including some things the city needs to do also. in easement, granting, example being, it's our property, we still have to do an easement release because it's a federal project. There's still things that we have to do that is very reasonable. If we get this, the KDHE has approved it at this point, as long as these corrections get made by the engineers. So, we're approved. What we believe is, we believe this is gonna go to bid by this summer. We believe that we're gonna be putting lagoons in well before the year comes to an end. So, it will be 2026 probably before we're to a point to where the council should consider raising the moratorium and the light being at the end of the tunnel. I think one of the things the last time there was a moratorium, we should have took in consideration was the unexpected growth. And I don't know that we can expect any different at this point in time either. So, that would allow us to, they'd get equipment in the ground before, probably by the end of the summer, we'd get a lagoon built by the end of the year, and things would be transferable by 2026, with a little bit of luck, January, no later than March. And, the entire community can get back to regular life. But it'd probably be 2026 before that happens, and I would encourage the council, again, we not remove this until the lagoon can receive. The new lagoon can start receiving. So that's what will be in the ordinance. So, any questions, council? You might be interested in seeing this, John. I think there was some simple legend mistakes made
I do want to read that.
in this process. So, conversation.
No.
Michael? Robert?
No, I thought the bid ended today.
17.
17? Okay.
Contracts will take now, I mean. Which is
Anyone at the
subject
table?
to growth tax.
Regarding lagoons, sewer lagoons. Anybody in the audience regarding sewer lagoons? Did I help your questions that you wanted to ask? Okay. All right. No other questions? Let's move on. Okay. We'll real quick need to discuss workshop about a city hall. History. In 2024, there was a resolution to build a city hall and do a PER, a study that where would be the best place to put one. Okay, through all of this comes cost, comes money that this council at the particular time had chose not to questions at hand. Do we build a new city hall? It comes at a cost. It comes at a cost to a taxpayer to build a new city hall. Okay. This council had discussed it, and their thought was instead of building a new city hall somewhere for $1 million plus, which by the way, that raises your property taxes about $75 per 100,000. That was the study last year. Okay, so we can't do it for $1 million. We're trying to spend $1.5 million. Again, it comes at a cost to the community. This council chose not to take that risk. Okay, what they did decide was we would do something up here. This isn't our building. Okay, but let's take a look at this building and ask ourselves, what would it cost to build this building? Well, there are guys out there in contracting probably listening right now going, I can build that for you for $200,000, who knows? But it's not gonna be millions of dollars. Okay, so I think that is the direction that this council wanted to go, leaving City Hall right here. It comes with, everything you do comes with challenges. First challenge would be, we're not on the low pressure system here. We're on a lateral septic field. We have a big septic field right out here. One of the things that could be discussed is it affordable, and can we put the new building on a low pressure system. And I would say, it's our system, it should be doable. Okay? Or, for temporary purposes, can we put it on this lateral field? Which I think we can, because it's handling this building and that building over there too. It's handling it now. So, those are questions that are gonna come with the project as we continue the conversation. But as we talk about the project, the first thing I wanna start with is that we'd wanna set a price. Okay? We could do a study. We could pay somebody $10,000 to come in here to do a study, only for the council not to appreciate their study and spend less money. Okay, so, and that's what this council chose to do last time, was in a resolution, we were gonna do a study, and the council withdrew the resolution because they didn't find the efficiency of spending 10 grand with an engineer that was going to tell us what we needed to hear to spend more money, I guess. You know, the more money you spend on a project, the more money engineers make. The council's, I think, has made wise decisions. But what do we do next, and how do we do it? Do we borrow the money? Let's just say it's gonna cost $350,000 for us to build something up here. Where do we get that money? Do we go borrow that money? And, I've got people looking into grants right now for this type of, a model. Or there's other aspects. The city has funds. The city has almost $400,000 worth of emergency funds, that, upon the city's approval, we could utilize those funds. An investment advisor would tell you not to spend your own money. An investment advisor would tell you to, you know what, use someone else's money to build or try to move your development forward. So we're gonna look at a grant to do this. It starts with, we need to get the building over there removed that we're not using. It's a manufactured home that was moved in there 25 years ago, and nothing has been done to it in all the years that it's been there. And we haven't been able to use it for over a year and a half. It's literally fallen apart, and we need to get it removed. That's gonna be one of the first challenges. But now, we stop for a minute, and the council, as we put this project together, I need the opinion of the council, and I think the next step is the removal of the building over there. Does the council agree?
Yeah, we gotta remove that building.
We have to.
Yeah, and I think we already kind of got some pricing on that, didn't we, or?
We did. but
Kinda got a
it's
determination
been a
about how
year,
much it
so
costs.
I'll have to get with the contractors again and see if they're gonna submit a different price in 2025 than they did in 2024, but I'll look into that, so we'll start with that.
Tell them it's more vintage now. Bring the price down.
Absolutely. All right, council, what do you think the second thing we need to do here is?
Determine how we're gonna fund a new council, new city hall.
Determine how we're gonna fund it.
Determine how to
And,
fund it.
and come up with what kind of budget we're looking at.
And we know, based on what we're paying on the lease on this current building, we can afford a certain amount per month without raising taxes. And we know we can borrow the money from the bank on a 20, 30-year note. And I think when we did the math last time, we came close to right around $500,000 that we could be able to borrow and spend
Actually,
without.
And what we
Raising
pay
taxes.
for the lease on this building on an annual basis, about $1,800 a month on an annual basis, we can easily replace this building for less than we're leasing a building right now. And that leased building, you're being taxed for. If you looked at your tax statement, they made sure, the county made darn sure everybody knew that $1,870 came out for the city hall. So that's what that represented. You know what? Employees have got an office somewhere. And as it is, this building doesn't really provide us anything for even, I mean, it freezes up when it gets a little cold. Steve keeps us unthawed. I mean, it's, we need a city hall. We need something our employees can work out of. You know, we have 2 people in the building and codes department. We have a clerk. We have a, Lisa, what's your title? There you go. So,
And a court clerk.
we got a court clerk, and here's my office and my desk. You know, so, and I'm not looking for an office or a desk, but all these people need one. So, what is the future? Okay? Before we get started here, I don't mind doing a certain amount of this work, but I need someone else on this committee, on this committee to help with information gathering and stuff, so.
Now, I thought we agreed that we weren't gonna start building a new city hall until some of the water project or sewer project, some of the other stuff got done, before we started another project. That was my understanding.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we talked about.
What are we doing?
Okay.
Well, we're doing a workshop to,
Well, this is where we're at. This is 2025. It is a workshop. You guys only have till 2027 to make a decision here before this lease comes up. And when this lease comes up, if we haven't moved far and if we're still waiting around to do things, the consequence is gonna be this building's gonna go up to $2,200 a month, and you'll be leasing it for another 2 years, so it'll be 2029 before you get out of here. You know what, guys, as the mayor, I'm just telling you, I'm not gonna do all the work. Somebody's gonna have to side with me here and help take some of the pressure off of me. But the other part of it is that if we just wanna say no, and you wanna move on, that's fine. I'm here tonight to tell you that we have the same as we had a member of this council sit in front of us with an economic opportunity, Dan Donham. Well, that economic opportunity did not exist at that time. And I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm hoping I'm not doing more damage to this, but I have reached out, thanks to our council, our district representative, Rick James. We've been given an opportunity, the Department of Mental Health from the state of Kansas, not the SEK, but the Department of Mental Health from the state of Kansas would like to build an office in the north end of this community. Okay, so what are our economic opportunities? Okay, is there an economic opportunity that goes with the city hall at the same time, or is there not? The Department of Mental Health is not going to wait till 2027 for us to make up their decision. The bottom line is that we're going to continue the conversation if the council would like, but as of now, we have different options, but one of their most favorable options would be that we would build a medical center and they would lease it for 20 years. Okay, so now we only have one place that we could put something like that, and that would probably be where Dan Donham had indicated an economic opportunity out here on Eulery Road in front of where the lagoons are going to go. That picture there, where that green is on that map right there. That comes with investing. Not only does it come with investing, but I can tell you it comes at a taxpayer's cost. You know, we can go out and lease it, but to guarantee the grant that we'll get, which they're saying some of them are in the 50-50 range. This building will pay for itself easily for 20 years. But it's the original investment we have to put into it. Are we interested in this economic growth? And I do believe I understood the council to say in 2024 exactly what Michael Hemphill said. Now, it's not as much a ambition anymore. We actually have somebody who said that they would build something, they would like to see something built there. It does change things a little bit. But it's up to the council where I go from here if I do anything other than call Nathan and tell Nathan that, you know, we're not interested. But now the bottom line is going to be, when will this next opportunity come our way? When will the next state representative or the next congressperson or something who wants to show us favor, when will that come back to our community again?
I'm totally fine with them doing that down here, but we agreed not to do another project, and the community screamed, they don't want no more big projects, like a new city hall, until we get some of this other stuff done.
This would be a project. I mean, I'm not gonna shy away from it and tell you, it's not. It'll be a project for the city. We'll have to sell the Department of Mental Health a package that they're willing to accept and something that we're willing to afford.
Well, I understand that, we put them down there, they lease it from us, it'll pay for itself, but the city hall is a totally different subject.
What's the escalation clause, Lou? I don't remember on, just so we're all on the same page. We've got the lease that comes up, is it a new lease or is it an automatic turnover, of course, for an additional few years at a certain price? Do you remember?
No, we have to get into a new lease every time.
Don't like with this building.
Correct, so the question is, I don't think Lou is saying that we have to do that, but if we do nothing, you're guaranteed that you're gonna have to renegotiate a lease for this building. If you do the workshop and figure out what something could cost or not cost, at least you know what we can do over there.
Well, I don't mind doing a workshop as long as it's not gonna cost us anything, you know what I mean? Except for some time.
It's gonna be time. I don't think there's a cost associated with it except for time.
And I think all I'm asking is that some of you give up your time to
Yeah,
help solve this.
That's fine. I'm just saying, we agreed.
And I don't
we were
see
gonna take
no
on another
hands
big
go
fucking
up, all
project.
I see is just complaints, what I don't wanna do, what we don't want, what the community don't want us to do.
That's who
I
we
get
work for,
that.
is this community,
You're
sir.
exactly right.
We're not supposed to represent ourselves, we represent them.
And as a
Represent the
mayor,
government.
you know, with the growth of this city, or what goes on with this city as a city, you know what, has a lot of responsibility. And again, to stay in our lanes, it is, where do we wanna go as a city? I have a councilman here says do nothing. Economic growth don't mean.
No, I
we're-
didn't
we're
say that
not.
about that project down there.
We're
It's two
not-
different things, you're trying to conflate them together and they're not.
I'm not, they would be, if in an
How would
event,
they be?
the economic development would be a city hall next to a medical building.
Oh, you were talking about putting the city hall up here, not down there.
You were, yes, sir, that's correct.
No, we all were. That's
That's
what we were
correct.
discussing.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Try to make it simple. If it's not gonna cost the city any money to do a study, and the council members are involved to figure out what an associated cost would be,
Right, that's fine.
then I don't think you have a problem with that.
No.
I think the two of you are having a very nice conversation that is basically saying the same thing. The question, and you don't wanna spend any money, fair. Lou wants to figure out what our cost associated with putting the city hall up is. If there's no money that's gonna be expended to figure those things out, it seems like you're fine with doing that.
Right, but I didn't want to start there and then end up somehow we're spending $500,000 on it in the city hall.
No, I get that too, but you don't know that until we do that,
Right.
figure that out. So
Well, I can compromise that far, you know.
It's not a compromise. You guys are gonna do it, I'm stepping back. You wanna build a city hall, build it. You don't, leave your employees where they're at, that is your call. You might wanna ask your employees how tired they're getting of this building from the winter time. Not that we should care, but I do. But the consequence here.
So now
is
I don't care
that-
about the employee.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're fucking implying.
Simmer
Now-
down, guys, simmer down.
We managed to get to this meeting without all the F and then all the insult and all that, Michael.
It's called
You know
freedom of
what?
speech. I'll say anything I want to, but I'm sorry.
You can, but you don't have to insult people, you don't have to.
Who
fuck
am I
people.
insulting?
Me. You
No.
trusting me?
The fuck wasn't towards you, sir. It was just fucking general.
I still think that we are obligated to act in a,
Lou, just so I can get this clear. Cause I did not catch on to this till Jamie just pointed it out. You're saying if somebody wants to put a mental office down here, you're saying that the possibility of putting a city hall with it is an option through grants?
actually, I think it was. It's exactly a memo that Michael brought from a member of our community that didn't put a name to it, but he brought to City Hall tonight and handed it out to everybody.
I sure did.
And this is exactly what it represents, is what is our future, okay? And I think that every council person has a right to weigh in to what you think your future should be here. The same as POA, should go to POA meetings and you should weigh in on what you think your future should be and what the future of the POA should look like. You know, what is the future of the city? Guys, you know what, this got beat up in 2024 and got pushed to the side. We agreed to all that, and we took on a new lease here. Now, I'm gonna ask to remove the building in the back, because tomorrow, I'm gonna ask Steve to put in a condemnation to his own city. And if you guys, if you wanna approve me to clean it up, we'll get it cleaned up. If you don't, I'll ask Steve to start a condemnation process on it, because it should be condemned. So, what you choose to do, each one of yous need to think about what you think the future of the city's gonna look like. And the next time you need to do a workshop, I would suggest you come with your opinions and what you think you wanna do and what you think you wanna see. I brought an opportunity to the city that wasn't there, 6 months ago. Okay, so with that, the opportunity, Michael, comes at an investment. It'll come at a cost to the city, and it'll come at a cost to the taxpayers. Okay, so in order for me to have that conversation, the council will need to agree that that's the road we're all gonna go down for economic development. Okay, so, and to get grants for that, we have to have a economic development committee, et cetera, et cetera. You know, it was all in front of us one other time when another council person was presenting, that side of it. I'm not here to make up anybody's mind, or you're here to make those decisions. So, I'm gonna move past all of that. What I'd like for the council to do is, give me permission to spend not to exceed $10,000 to remove the building next door. The last previous bid we were gonna accept in 2024 was $8,500. So I don't anticipate it'll exceed 10 grand. And I just want to clean up the area.
We budgeted for that, didn't we?
Yeah, it was budgeted for.
So, motion to, give the mayor, to allow the mayor to enter into a contract negotiations to remove the old, modular home that is behind the current court building at a cost not to exceed $10,000.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Come up with a plan for the next time, guys. It's not an argument with me. It's what do we want to do? But one of the decisions I do want to make tonight, so I can let the Department of Mental Health know immediately, is our goal short-term economic development. And I actually want a decision on this because I'd like
Yeah.
permission to move forward with conversations
Yes.
with the Department of Mental Health regarding building an office here in Linn Valley.
I motion that you let the mayor move forward with conversation with the Kansas Mental Health Department, right?
Correct.
On possibly building a place of business here in Linn Valley.
Second.
Conversation. All in favor?
Aye.
And again, no secrets here. I made it perfectly clear that it comes at a cost if in an event these kind of things do come true. You know, so they have also given us information based on grant opportunities, funding opportunities, and things of that nature. So, and I think as far as I know, and I hope this doesn't change anything, but as far as I know, they have given us the kind of the first opportunity. We found out through Rick James. So I would like to thank Rick James for that too, by the way. Still invested in this county. Okay. I don't have a mayor's report now because my mayor's report consisted of groveling over the RVs and fifth wheel camper living. So I no longer have a report. And I would like to move to old business. This is where if you had any questions regarding RVs, please ask.
No, but I have a question regarding something you said tonight. Can you be a little bit more specific on what Kansas Department of Health would like to put into Linn Valley?
It's an office. It's an office for daily appointments.
Okay.
So
Okay.
client services,
No overnight servicing, no.
Clients.
No, that's-
client services. They'll see clients at this mental health facility.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And Mike, I just want to say I agree with you. I think we need to finish one project before we move on to another, but
I second that.
No, guys, I live here also. You know what? I don't live on the lakefront.
I don't
You know,
either.
I have to get receipts for my checking account. I mean, I live here, guys, so I understand and I appreciate that. But economic growth is a conversation that, as we try to have this, you know what, there's a diversity, with these conversations. It seems like every conversation we have, there's a diverse side to it, you know, so, you know what, that's not
And I
what.
guess the other thing would be their proposal. What are they proposing? Are they proposing we build it and rent it, or they build, you know?
Well,
That's why we're telling him to move forward with conversation.
What would sell the project today, and what I just said, would be we build it and lease it to them. If I called them tomorrow and told them that's what we were gonna do, they came down with the director and the chief financial officer. So they show very much interest, you know, it could be a matter of what we can afford to do also.
And I thought that was a good idea you brought to the council, the mental health center down there. And I think that'd actually bring in, if somebody sees, you know, we got a business down here, maybe they might bring in another one. Maybe that might bring some business here.
But there'd be no benefit to the people that live in the community paying the higher taxes to have the offices there. It would just come back to
Other
the
than you
city.
don't have to drive very far to.
Cool. So that doesn't help my taxes going up.
You know what, the taxes would go up, and through my research, this is how we'll look at the grant process and how, example being, they're trying to service Miami County too with this center. So, you know, not diversity, but financially, is this a financial burden we can ask somebody else to help share with us? You know what, fire department shares that with Miami County. You know, we have a contract in Miami County that his report said they were up in Miami County helping twice last month. So, you know, we have those connecting agreements. I don't know, those are good questions to ask, and as we move forward with this, grant opportunities, payback opportunities, You know, how does that actually, example being, if the grant was 50-50, the impact to build a building might not be as high on taxes. You know, if the grant was,
But then we're getting paid that lease, so.
yeah, yeah,
Eventually, the building will be paid off, we'll
Yeah.
be making a positive after
yeah.
that.
That's where your numbers would actually change, and it would be a benefit to the community.
But I've also,
Is once we've paid off the building, we paid off any
And plus-
loans or
plus
whatever.
they would be paying county taxes,
Right.
which brings our mill levy down.
Yeah.
Because there's more of a,
So they gotta charge patients.
Although I think the issue still is, these are all what ifs.
Yeah.
This is still the infancy of what's going on.
Yeah.
And yes, it could raise taxes, maybe not raise taxes. Could there be income associated with it? Yes. Could they pay for the building? Yes. Could the city have to pay for the building? Yes. The fact is, this is completely in the infancy of what is going on. There have been no decisions made,
They
literally.
said there was.
No, what I'm saying is, there's a conversation that they've come to us with. Once we get all that information and know exactly what they're actually thinking, then we can present it so everyone knows exactly what they actually want to have done and how that process would work.
and they have a stopping point. I don't know what it is, but they'll have a point to where they're going, this is all we're willing to do. All I know is for the first time in the history of the city, we have someone reaching out to us and growing and asking us, are you interested in growing and including us? Lacine will be considered. But I've also looked into the dynamics of some of the other medical centers that are in the county. You know what, it would have to be a longer-term lease, because I wouldn't be interested, nor would this council be interested in a building with a 10-year guarantee.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, we don't need a medical building, which it costs a little more to build a medical building than it is an average office, you know?
but the reason I asked you to move forward with it is because back in the day when I was the fire chief of Greeley, a similar situation came into town, and everybody just sat around and talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. Well, they don't wait forever, and they just moved on. So we never even got to see the proposal.
So-
That's why I'm saying we need to see what they're offering to see if it's, you know.
It may not be a good fit, it may be a great fit, we won't know until we get more information.
Okay. I just wanna make sure that what I'm doing is in the best interest of the council, and the council agrees with the next steps that we're taking. I hate to do work that just gets put to the side because
Yep.
we're not going to discuss it or utilize it. Anything else under old business? Last chance. New business. We have any new business, Mindy? Council? Okay. Audience, new business. No new business, very good. This is regarding,
Just an observation. I try to make every meeting in person.
Yeah, we haven't
The last
seen
two
it
or
in a
three I
long
haven't
time,
been able to
but that's
make.
okay.
As an observation, as a viewer, not everyone is able to be heard on the video itself. I commend Mr. Superbot for getting this equipment. When Mindy makes her report, you cannot hear her. Some of the members here that don't speak into the microphone are not heard. Any comments from back here are not heard at all. Can't ever hear Steve's report because he doesn't talk into the
Okay.
microphone. Just an observation
Okay.
for those that can't make it here and are viewing. So,
okay, the people who can't make it here, I'm not gonna make this an open forum and a free-for-all for Facebook and all this, so there's no comments.
no, I understand.
No, he's just talking about
Just
hearing.
You can't hear on the video itself.
Oh, okay.
You can't hear
Yeah.
the
Okay.
comments that are being made
Well,
by
I
this. That's all.
I
So
appreciate
maybe
that.
A couple extra microphones or something.
I appreciate that. Steve,
Either that-
in the future, please stand to the microphone. In the future, I will inconvenience you guys. You either have to speak loud enough everyone can hear, or I'll have to ask you to come to the microphone.
Not a problem here in the room, it's just.
You know, and I will, as far as the council, let's all do the same thing. Let's, you need to lean toward a microphone, Mindy, when we're doing that. As we're improving. You know, this is something that we've bought equipment after equipment to try to make this better, try to make it more, try to make
Thank you
it,
for the improvements, it's
yeah.
just.
And we still want to continue to do better. I don't like to go home and hear my wife say, I couldn't understand a word you said. Or vice versa with the council, so. So, if there's not anything else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Michael.